Hi, welcome to Stories by Lois. I'm Lois. Today's stories are two practical jokes from about 1967, a long, long, long time ago. I didn't want to make it seem like so long ago. My husband made me add that third long. But let's get started. No memes, no videos, no cell phones, just one phone in the home with an extension cord that just reached to my sister's and my bedroom. No adult really wants to hear those teenage phone calls. I had been dating this guy for about 3 weeks. He would take me square dancing on Saturday night. I dated nice guys, and yes, this is important to the story. I noticed that he left his keys in the ignition when he would walk me to the front porch and say goodnight. This is not a good idea. I don't care what neighborhood you're in. One Saturday night, I decided to pull the keys from the ignition, palming them in my hand as he walked around the car to let me out. He opened the passenger door and I got out. He walked me to the front porch where he kissed me goodnight. I very nicely told him with attitude, "You'll be back." He looked at me confused, then turned and left. As I entered the house, I shut and locked the door behind me so the sounds would be the same that he was used to hearing. I hurried through the dining room and into the kitchen to the corner window over the sink where I could see the street and his car. I stood on my tippy toes so I could see everything. Yes, I'm short. I saw the dome light go on, then off. He's looking for those keys now. They're not where he left them. The dome light goes back on, and he's still looking for those keys on the floor between the seats. I could picture everything he was going through as he started to panic. He gets out of the car, looks on the street under the car, follows his steps around the car, and on hands and knees inspect the grassy parking strip. He walked halfway up to the door and stared at it. He couldn't knock. He might wake my parents. Who knows what that might cause? Told you, nice guys think of others. They're also easy prey. He went back to the car and searched again. This time he walked up the door, knowing he would have to knock and finally call for help. Remember, one phone in the house. I opened the front door and held up the keys and asked him, "Is this what you're looking for?" He came over to me and accepted the keys. Attitude and all again. "I told you you'd be back." It doesn't end there. A few months later, I was dating his best friend. This was fun. He drove a VW Bug, and I got to learn to drive a stick shift. If for those of you who don't know what a stick shift is, it's a manual transmission as opposed to an automatic transmission, and a lot of fun to drive. If you still don't understand, go to a car show. That's just a side story. It's amazing what I could do as a nice, polite girl to guys while they walked around the car to let me out, which they always did. I didn't have much time. A VW was a very small car. This time, I pulled out the buttons on the radio and pushed them all back into one station. In those old cars, you needed to manually tune in each station and pull out the button you wanted to use for it and push it back in for the selected station. He told me later, at first, he couldn't figure out what had happened. He was on the freeway and had to listen to the 5-minute news break. What a waste of time. When he got home, he repositioned his favorite stations. They worked fine. Then he realized I couldn't be trusted. Also, hope you enjoyed the stories, even minus the video. If you like them, you might also enjoy my mystery books, available on storiesbylois.com, link down below. Also remember to give my stories a thumbs up. Please subscribe and share to give somebody else a giggle or a laugh. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for listening. One more thing. If you don't know Los Angeles County, these two friends lived in Woodland Hills. We danced in Culver City. I lived near the beach cities Redondo Beach and Manhattan Beach. I doubt if you know the city I lived in, unless you're a Beach Boys fan. After dancing all evening and driving a long way home, they were tired. One night, the VW driver dreamt he fell asleep on the freeway. I guess he was worried about that. He jumped off and ran off the side of his bed. Luckily, he only hurt his arm. I guess he could have broken it. I would have felt guilty. Also, I love a mystery, so I left you with one. Can you guess what city I grew up in? The clues are included in my story. Let me know your answer down below. Thanks again. Bye-bye.